Sleep deprivation does more than just make you tired. For some people, staying awake long enough can start to change how their mind works. Today, we're looking at real stories from people who pushed themselves too far without sleep. If you enjoy disturbing internet stories like this, consider liking the video and subscribing. Let's get into it. My experience after not sleeping for a week straight. This happened about 6 years ago, so some of the details are fuzzy. A bit of background. I have insomnia, and have had it since I was very young. In high school, when I was about 16 or 17, a mix of anxiety and insomnia threw me into paranoid hallucinations, which lasted about 3 or 4 days. I honestly can't remember how long I hallucinated because of how delirious I was during this time. I wasn't sleeping for more than 1 or 2 hours a night for about a week and a half. I remember getting on the train to go to school, and as I was looking at the floor of the train, it started moving, almost like when you are on shrooms, and things look like they are breathing. During this time, I would pop a few Ativans and smoke a bowl before school, so I didn't think much of it. Later that day, I was walking from my locker with a friend. Suddenly, something felt very, very wrong. I looked at her and instantly believed she was not my friend, and instead an imposter that replaced her. I remember running into a classroom and waiting until my older sibling came to pick me up. I don't remember how I got home or even leaving my school building. The next night was so much worse. I don't remember what happened to make me leave my room. I just felt very unsafe there. I went to my mother's room and made her turn all the lights on. I remember I couldn't have my back to the door because I believed a shadowy creature who looked like a man would come and tap my back if I did. My mom managed to calm me down enough that she could turn off the lights, which made everything so much worse. As I lay in bed, I could feel the bed underneath me move and sway, as if I was on a boat. When I looked down past the edge of the bed, there was a little dark gnome figure who would run out and around. This terrified me, so I refused to look over there again. Objects started distorting into creatures. I remember focusing on one that looked like a bear, and convinced myself it would protect me from all the other creatures. I remember looking at my mom in her bed and was convinced that an alien had entered her body and taken over. The only way I snapped out of it was being able to hear her heartbeat. The next day, I still managed to drag myself to school. I don't remember much at all of that day. I just remember suddenly I was walking home. It was dark out, and I was walking past a park. Out of the corner of my eye, I kept seeing a man in a white t-shirt walking in the park, parallel to me. I was convinced he was following me, so I began to walk in the middle of the street where the cars were. I felt safer there than on the sidewalk, convinced this man would attack or kill me. He would disappear and then reappear constantly. Soon he was not a man at all, and just a shadowy figure with a bright white glow in the middle of him. I don't know how I got home, but when I did, I was very distraught. My mom tried to come and comfort me, but again, I believed it was not her, and in fact an imposter, and felt intense fear at the thought of her getting close to me and would scream and cry if she tried. Eventually I was hospitalized and diagnosed with insomnia and severe anxiety. I was in inpatient care for about 10 days before I was able to leave, and after that was an outpatient for about a month. Psychosis after 4 days of no sleep? Day 1. I left rehab, and I was feeling so extremely euphoric, so I had my girlfriend take care of me because I forgot my identity, and I was quickly regaining it. I had some friends over. Day 2. I wasn't exhausted at all. In fact, I was listening to music while my girlfriend was asleep. When she woke up, she was surprised I wasn't asleep. I replied, "I feel like I just woke up." I had my friend come over every day to keep me company when she wasn't around. Day 3. Still enjoying my full-blown euphoria for 3 days. I haven't eaten in 3 days, barely drank water. Around 3 p.m., I started losing my mind. I was constantly talking about how good metal music is, and how good we sounded when we played together with my friend. For some reason, I kept saying that riff I played was constantly stuck in my mind. Day 4. It begins. No sleep. I didn't do anything, just trying to sleep. I had my girlfriend over, and I kept talking about the power of the soul, and the mind controls everything before she left. I finally had a bit of rest, about 3 hours of sleep. I woke up like a maniac, called her, and told her about my dream, which was about me getting my mouth stuffed with tissues by the nurses at the rehab center in a very loud tone. Then my father came in to check on me, and I kid you not, I was about to calmly talk to him about my dream, which escalated to me screaming so hard. He sat down across the room, and I jolted and continued screaming to the top of my lungs about how the world revolved around pyramids, until suddenly I realized what was going on and just shut off. I hear my girlfriend calling my name from the phone because I didn't hang up. I calmly replied, I have to sleep. I laid back to sleep and got images of pyramids and had a feeling that God sent me to tell everyone about how the pyramids were made. I ran to my dad screaming, I know how the pyramids were built. I went outside and got 3 pieces of wood and made a pyramid in my dad's room and continued screaming that this is why life was made. It was the pyramids. By this point, I talked for like 5 minutes with him and he replied, so what was your point? I screamed, saying, why is it dark outside? He replied with a surprised face, we've been talking for the past 5 hours, can you feel time? I replied with, I have to sleep. Everyone was worried about my mental state at this point. My friend came over that night. I kept saying that I was God and created all of you and made this earth, and when we went out for some food, I went to take the order. The streets had rhythm. It sounded heavenly. Everything, even the car door, the bathroom door. People have unique sounds. The sound of the trash, it sounded amazing. I told everyone that everything sounded like music. My GF replied with, you've been awake for 4 days. That surprised me. I laughed and continued to slam the car door. Nothing sounded normal anymore. They all sounded great. I kept thinking that I was going to be like this forever. I had to keep my dad around because I kept getting lost in my room and around the apartment, which is weird because the apartment is small. Still having extreme euphoria, but very paranoid because the dark seemed like an endless flat land with people whispering in my ear and breathing behind my ears. I remember having emotional outbursts in the morning. I was crying about a situation, and with a bit of trauma, I completely lost it. Day 5. Slowly regaining my sanity after a 7-hour sleep. Motor functions were messed up, euphoric, and motivated. Food tasted like nothing but salt. I had to eat, so I ate, and filled up feeling good. I forgot a bit of details. Addicted to sleep deprivation in small amounts, and it's ruining, but also helping my life. I guess I'll post here since it seems like a cool, small, and personal subreddit. I don't need to explain my situation in depth, but I will. I'm just tired of being yelled at by everyone that I need to get my sleep and that I'm ruining my mental health because I know that. I'm just really addicted to it since I think I may have depression and a bunch of complicated things going on. I feel like I use it instead of a drug because I don't want to touch drugs. Although I kind of want to try weed without getting a serious addiction to it. I feel like the reason everyone, like my dad, is so concerned with me staying up all night and often all day after all night is because of me being hospitalized last year in 2019 due to getting psychosis triggered by sleep deprivation. I had multiple deaths in my family, and a family member that I had a grudge against ended his life at the end of 2018, and I felt guilty about it at first. Then I think that triggered my addiction to sleep deprivation. I started sleeping less and less, and started to feel hopeful and high, but also sometimes when I'd get sleep deprived, I'd only feel euphoric and hopeful for a few hours, and then later on I'd literally feel really negative and extremely hopeless. I think my brain might have contemplated it a few times last year without plans or action. Then I got psychosis and got hospitalized and admitted to a psych ward. The stay was 1 week, but I was there for 2 months. Then I got sent to a more permanent place for 4 months, and I was scared and thought I was going to learn my lesson about sleep deprivation, but no. Naturally, I feel more awake at night, and I either want to just sleep in the morning, or I feel euphoric so much that I just stay up. I don't even know if I've fully caught up on any of my sleep deprivation, but my sleep schedule fluctuates. I go from a normal schedule sleeping from night to morning, and sometimes sleep in until the afternoon after sleeping at night, but then I naturally mess up my schedule every now and then, and have to fix it somehow, whether I sleep all day and night or stay up for 24 hours. My case is probably not as extreme as some posts on this, considering people stay up for weeks straight, but for some reason, I feel even more awake at night after staying up all day. No matter how much sleep I'm on, I always feel more awake at night, like that's when I thrive. So even after almost crashing into deep sleep a million times that day, I sometimes stay up all night again, despite being up for a whole 24-hour day. It's a problem, but I guess not the worst situation. I don't know. I just feel extremely addicted to sleep deprivation for many reasons, including that it takes away symptoms of depression. I am not motivated to fix my life in a healthy way. I am not motivated for anything, really. For some reason, I like feeling intense emotions, even if they're negative, because most of the time I feel euphoric along with the negative emotions, so that's how I deal with it. As soon as I get frustrated, I just want to cry and sleep, but I usually don't get frustrated until I make myself upset while sleep deprived, and then I just feel extremely awful and even more tired than before. But if I stay positive and engage in things I enjoy doing, then I can feel high for a long time. It literally feels like a drug for people who are scared of drugs. I literally had a friend, and we called sleep deprivation a drugless drug. It makes me feel chaotic, and I am obsessed with the feeling. Not only that, it takes away my mental blocks. For example, when I'm running on a good amount of sleep and I'm all caught up on sleep, I feel neutral about everything and I can literally only get into complex thoughts about myself. I've always struggled with talking because I literally never have anything to say. And it's not just that I don't have anything to say at that moment. I literally never have anything to say to people, and I can't even converse with someone I've known for 6 years, even if I know almost everything about them. I only have fun and interesting conversations when I'm sleep deprived. I've had good conversations when I'm not sleep deprived, but it's rare and really difficult, and I feel like I'm trying too hard with conversations and socializing. But the thing is, it literally feels impossible to have conversations with people since I'm so socially inexperienced and never really said anything growing up. Not even to my friends. I think our only conversations came from my imagination and were imaginary games or role play. You know, typical kid stuff where you play make-believe games. But then once I lost my imagination, I literally felt worthless and had no thoughts about anything. My whole entire life was just about my imagination and hardly anything else. I didn't have any important or meaningful conversations, not even conversations that would be meaningful to children. This is probably severe social anxiety and a mental block. I'm now realizing that most of my thoughts are about me and not anything else. And if they're about anything else, it's just my general interests and what I care about. So basically, I feel like I'm self-centered in a confusing way. To be honest, everything that's wrong with me is confusing because I feel like I fit so many descriptions, but then I look up the disorder or mental problem I think I might have and realize it's nothing close to my experience. So I'm like, then what do I have? Just a personality complex? I feel so unique in the worst and most boring way possible. I know I'm probably not actually boring, and I've seen what boring actually is. But sometimes I think I'm extremely boring, just due to the fact that I have no real interests or thoughts or opinions. I mean, I care slightly about things, but not enough. I have opinions, but only way after when it doesn't even matter. I can't bring things up. But that's the point of this sleep deprivation thing because it fixes everything. My problems of not knowing what to say, not caring, or being interested, and not having an interesting personality. Because when I'm sleep deprived, I can suddenly care about things intensely, and I suddenly have things to say, and I can express myself. It makes me feel important and interesting. It makes me feel hopeful in the moment about everything, and I feel capable of things. I feel like I am actually an interesting person, but then I know it won't last long and won't be there when I need it the most. The hope won't be there when I actually take action because I only get sleep deprived when I'm not taking action. I'm not doing anything to fix my life while I'm sleep deprived because I'm just relaxing. So my hopefulness about my future doesn't even matter because once I wake up, I know that I will feel incapable of everything that's important for my future. So when I feel sleep deprived, I literally dread waking up and getting on a normal sleeping pattern because when I catch up on sleep, I feel like I'm losing my identity and personality. I'm literally so scared and have zero self-control over staying up and doing things because I'm terrified of not writing things down that my wide-awake brain isn't going to even know about or think about to write down. I put the internet over everything since everything I do is on the internet, and I feel like if I don't do these things, I'll lose myself completely and be gone forever. I just think that I make everything seem extremely important and way more important than my health and daily tasks, like honestly eating and hygiene and every little daily task. And I hyper-focus on these things on the internet so much that I just forget everything else and avoid going to sleep when I need it or doing anything I need to do. This post is getting way too long, I know, but I just have a lot to say about this. I know I have multiple mental problems and probably several mental disorders I don't know about. I already have 2 diagnosed disorders: social anxiety and schizophrenia. Schizophrenia isn't even really that permanent, since I only notice symptoms when sleep deprived, and I just completely think it's just a sleep deprivation thing. I might not even have schizophrenia, but that's besides the point. I guess I'm posting here to feel less alone, or even for help from like-minded people who can better understand than anyone I know. If you read this, then genuinely thank you, because it's a lot to read and digest. Also, getting back to the point, I may have ADD or ADHD since it runs in my family, but apparently I wasn't officially diagnosed even though I always thought I was, and took medication for it and everything, which just makes everything worse because I think if I have it, that it's really severe at certain times, like I'm not always super distracted, but when I'm not numb, it might be possible depression clouds some of my ADD. I don't know. I'm just confused about everything, but I'm confused about how to get out of this sleep deprivation mess. I know I want to stay up all night sometimes, like maybe once a month or once every other month or something, or just when necessary or inevitable just to satisfy my nocturnal night owl side, but then immediately go to sleep and catch up on my lost sleep after the morning comes. I'm just confused about my mental problems and my mental blocks that prevent me from thinking, reacting, and forming opinions right away. I'm tired of it. When I say I don't feel like a normal functioning human, I mean it literally, since I feel like human functioning doesn't work like this. I can't really think about important world stuff. I don't really care about anything no matter what it is, and I can never really say anything to people. I'm upset that sometimes I can find something to say, but then don't keep the knowledge or habit or flow of conversation skills that I used when I was talking to someone. It's annoying because socializing is natural no matter how bad or unskilled you are at it. It comes naturally in whatever form. And when I look up conversation skills, it's stuff about detailed and put together conversations like storytelling or simple jokes or humor. No, I want to know how to make a conversation flow naturally and talk to people in a joking way, like just messing around, not like typical humor. I want to joke around in the typical way friends do, talk about things typical friends do without trying, have funny and fun banter about something, or just talk about memes. I don't know how to do any of that. Sure, I've done it before, but I don't keep the skill in a way where I can naturally have conversations constantly. I'm mad that even people in worse mental states who are extremely hopeless and feel absolutely worthless or are extremely less fortunate still know how to talk to people or have things I'd love to have, like functioning friendships where you have fun, or just things like being able to comment on videos or pictures or having clever things to say that can be the simplest thing that people like because of how simple it is. I don't have anything to contribute or say to anything, not even about how bad or neutral I'm doing. I know I'm literally writing a whole life storybook in this post, but 1, I'm sleep deprived, and 2, I'm not reacting to anything or having an opinion on something else. I'm just saying my own difficult life experience. To try to wrap things up, I guess I just want clarity for this sleep deprivation addiction in other forms, rather than people telling me I'm destroying my mental health and just need to sleep. I want to be understood because I feel so alone in most of my feelings, even if they're common, because all of them together feel so complicated and rare, even if it isn't. I just want peace. I want a solution, or just to be understood. I feel like I'm going to fail in life completely if I don't find a way to fix my brain without using sleep deprivation as an experiment. I have so many problems that might be developmental issues due to lack of very early experience in specific areas. I'm tired of using sleep deprivation as a tool to feel better and to feel a sense of hope and purpose. So if you read this extremely long book that would be like a 2-hour speech, thanks for taking a really long time to read this, and reach out in the comments if you have something to say about any of this. Peace. Those were some of the most disturbing sleep deprivation stories shared online. It's honestly unsettling how quickly the human mind can start to break down when it's pushed past its limits. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd also love to hear what disturbing topic you think I should cover next. And if you want to see more videos like this, check out the ones on the screen now.